Hello YouTube! My name is Teddy, and here on this channel I talk about my hypothetical reboot for Winx Club. Today we're doing Musa's video, which means there will be a lot of talk about shipping. When students get a break from classes at Alfia and they go home to visit their families, Musa goes home to a small town next to a very fertile river delta, where her father works as a farmer. But this isn't always what their life was like. Musa was born in Melody, a major city only a couple hours away from where her family lives now. Her mother used to be a performer at a major concert hall there. See, Melody is a cultural center of Solaria, where people travel from all over the country to see this bustling musical city. There are concert halls, opera houses, theaters, amphitheaters, musical colleges, all kinds of things. And the kingdom's cultural elite spend a lot of time there too. Musa's parents actually met when they moved to the city. Her father heard her mother singing one night, and with the strength they had together as a couple, she became a famous performer, until her tragic passing. Musa was only around 10 years old when her mom died, and after her passing, her family really struggled financially. So, a few years later, they moved back to her father's hometown, where he managed to find work helping out on farms. There weren't very many magic users in this small town, and Musa didn't expect to be a fairy. Her wings didn't manifest until she was 17, which is only a year before she went to Alfia. This really isn't that unusual, but since she wasn't surrounded by anyone else who got their wings, she just didn't expect to get hers. And when she found out she would be going to Alfia, her first thought was whether or not she'd meet her true love in this new place, just like her parents. And right away, she did meet her new best friend. When all of the Winx were gathering in the lobby of their dorm, Musa and Tecna connected almost instantly, and they were so happy when they found out they were going to be roommates. I talked about it a little bit in Tecna's video, but the two of them have a really great dynamic. I would want to show that more. I also talked a little bit about how Tecna didn't really trust all of the specialists right away, and that is especially true for Riven. She really does not like Musa's sudden infatuation with Riven. She doesn't think that he'll treat her well. But Musa sees how Stella and Bloom are getting swept off their feet by Sky/Brandon, and she's like crazy jealous. She wants to have her moment. She wants to feel like she's found her Prince Charming. And even though she's trying her best, Riven just doesn't seem interested in being that for her. And being that they're best friends and roommates, of course Musa and Tecna are going to talk about relationships all the time. So, when Tecna and Timmy start dating so suddenly, Musa just gets all the more frustrated, feeling like everybody is finding their relationships so effortlessly, except for her. And now all of her friends are telling her that the guy she is interested in isn't going to be a good fit for her. So she gets even more frustrated, and eventually she tells them about this ex she has, who was also a rebel, who also had a sharp tongue, and can be kind of aggressive. So she can handle Riven, because she's done this before. Of course, she gets hit with a million questions about this mysterious ex that she had that nobody knew about, but she won't give any other information besides what she already said. By the way, this is still a lot of setup for Musa, like this is early season 1 stuff. Anyways, the ex that she's referring to, you might be thinking, oh, she's lying, she doesn't have an ex. She does. It's a secret she's been keeping the whole time, because her ex is Darcy of the Tricks. They dated before either of them went away to study magic, before Musa went to Alfia, before Darcy went to Cloud Tower, before Musa even had her wings or knew she was a fairy. Back then, Musa wasn't really sure what her path in life would be, but she would do deliveries into Melody, where she met Darcy. Musa would deliver produce to the store that Darcy's family owned, and they'd talk while she dropped it off and unloaded her cart. They'd talk about how they hated these stupid jobs and their passions lied elsewhere, and after they were done, they would go hang out. They'd go sit under a bridge until the sun went down just talking, or maybe go see some dumb performance happening somewhere in the city. And they were a very intimidating couple. I think Darcy already knew she wanted to go to Cloud Tower at this point. She didn't have any fairy wings, any dainty little fairy wings, but she was really interested in studying magic. And Musa actually considered going with her. Like I said, Musa really didn't know what she was going to do with her life. Her dad made it seem like being a performer was not an option at all, and she didn't want to stay on those farms forever. Plus, being a witch with Darcy seemed kind of fun. But then she got her wings. And Cloud Tower is a school for witches. The rivalry that Alfia has with Cloud Tower is taken way too seriously. No fairies at the witch school, no witches at the fairy school. It should be all in good fun, but it's really not. And the schools aren't that far apart. They could have stayed in touch. But the relationship was pretty much over when Musa decided to go to Alfia. And it hit her really hard. I mean, it was her first relationship, and it was good. And now she's convinced herself that she's really into Riven. But honestly, he's just fulfilling her desire to feel like she's moved on, to prove it to herself. And to give her a romance to daydream about. So, when the day of the rose comes around, Riven and Musa have had maybe some successful flirting. She's got her mind set on him, and he doesn't really get it. But they do get along. But like the original, Musa isn't at the race, and the tricks are. I think I've said this before, but I don't like how in the original the tricks seem like they're evil from the get-go. We never really get to see them be just normal students. I think that they would, in my version, go to the race just to go to the race. Maybe they'll get up to some shenanigans while they're there just for fun, but I don't think that they're going to have any kind of scheme really in mind. Like, can we just see them as teenage girls, just for 5 minutes? Like, before they become full-blown villains at the end of season 1, they're just like mean girls that go to Cloud Tower. Anyways, there will be scenes at the Day of the Rose where Darcy and Riven actually interact, and like, it'll be established that she's noticed him before this, and she'll probably have like the same reaction that Musa does.
You guys okay?
Isn't it rather obvious?
It would be really funny if it's like parallel shots. The difference is that she like saves him from crashing his motorcycle, and so he'll actually notice her since she took charge and was like, cool. And since her flirting is way more direct than Musa, they start dating. And of course, Musa is heartbroken. But when she finds out who Riven's new girlfriend is, she really breaks down, and this is when she'll tell her friends about their past relationship and how she was almost a witch. I really don't think Musa is going to be worried about her friends finding out she's bisexual. Honestly, they probably already know. I really think it's more so going to be the fact that they're finding out she dated one of the Tricks, their arch nemesis, arch rivals. And that she almost went to Cloud Tower, and honestly, if she went there, she might have been one of the Tricks. But her friends all comfort her and tell her they accept her just the way she is, obviously. And Flora tells her that being a witch wouldn't make her evil. Witches aren't evil, the Tricks are, which would foreshadow her friendship with Murda. After this confession, Musa's confidence in herself is stronger than ever. She also doesn't see much of Riven for a while, as the rest of the boys don't really invite him on their casual trips anymore. He's busy hanging out with the Tricks anyway. Like I said, they do normal teen things other than just constantly scheming in this reboot. At first. Also, Darcy never mind controls him, and legitimately sees him as her boyfriend. And once the Tricks start getting out of hand with their plans, they would get a legit breakup scene. After which, he would be united with Musa on the battlefield, see her in full fighting mode, she protects him, he explains how he turns from the Tricks' evil, they both smile for a moment, and that will be the real start of them forming a bond in a relationship. But here's the thing. After that major battle that concludes season 1, there really wouldn't be a lot of time for Musa Riven stuff. They would probably start dating off screen, like officially, between seasons 1 and 2. And when we come back into the story in season 2, they're already like officially together. And while Riven is a better person after his experiences in season 1, he will still have a lot of growing to do. But this isn't his video, so I'll just say that he and Musa are kind of on and off a few times, and then they break up. But that isn't the end of Musa's romances. Because this season, there is a wonderful new character, and the two of them get very close. When Aisha comes to Alfia, it's clear that Musa is the first person to really understand her, to reach out and provide comfort. Just look at this. They bond over music and dancing. Musa isn't going searching for romance anymore. She's more secure now. But before she knows it, just from them hanging out and having fun, Aisha has swept her off her feet. Literally. Two girls who always feel like they need to put on a mask of toughness, who always feel like they're fighting back against something. They can finally find the softness they crave, the person with whom they can let their guard down. I'll talk about it a bit more in Aisha's video, but spoiler alert, they are absolutely endgame. Sorry Riven, sorry Naboo. It's Musa and Aisha endgame for this reboot. Okay, now that I've gone on and on about Musa's dating timeline, let's talk a little bit about her design. In the show, she starts out with her iconic pigtails, right? They are so fun and unique. I love how they add to her more tomboyish tendencies as such a classically feminine hairstyle, yet done with a choppiness and edge that complements her personality. Then suddenly, in season 3, her hair grows out to a length that is, like, impossible. I know this is just, like, a cartoon thing that doesn't really matter, but it always bothered me, so I'm reversing it. Musa will start off the story with her hair longer, and after Riven and Darcy break her heart that first time, she'll cut her hair short. Classic, right? I did go back and forth with how to style her post-chop hair. Like, I do give her the Margot Robbie Harley pigtails, since they both, like, dump a shitty boyfriend and start dating their BFF. Maybe low pigtails to be more casual, half up, half down, but I think keeping it closer to the original was better. I imagine her not even letting her hair down to do it either, just like taking each pigtail and chopping away at it. Techno will help her fix it after. Also, her color palette is basically the bi flag plus red, especially in her fairy form. Except that teal outfit, I'm sorry, I just couldn't do the orange. I really tried with the orange, but it looked so bad with all of my designs. I wanted to keep red across all of her designs though. To me, it's Musa's color. I love her in red. Like, if she had become a witch, Sorry, but Stormy would have to change. Actually, I don't have the Trix's actual sisters, so I wonder if Musa would have gotten Stormy's spot entirely. I don't know. It doesn't matter, but it's just fun to think about. Musa is definitely still a fairy. She is guardian fairy of Melody. As a major cultural center for Solaria, Melody has a high population, heavy tourism, and plenty of historical significance, which warrants it getting a guardian fairy. I also think it would be nice if Musa's mentor was like a fan of, or maybe even knew her mom when she was still a performer. I think that would be really sweet. It would also be nice that Musa probably would get a little bit of fame from her guardianship. I mean, she'd be able to perform on stage and would likely gain a following. Actually, I guess all of the girls kind of end up as celebrities. Stella starts as one, but it would be different because Musa would have fans of her singing, not just her being a member of the Winx. Her magic would be based around sound and music still, but I honestly don't know a lot about music, so I'm not entirely sure how her powers would work. It would be cool if she was like well suited for recon though, like Jiro from My Hero Academia, with her advanced hearing. I think advanced hearing makes sense for Musa. Maybe she could even have a heartbeat based attack like Jiro does, considering so much of her story is centered around love and romance. Musa's position as guardian fairy is probably the least impactful to the plot when it comes to the roles of the Winx as fairies, as Melody is in a place tied very closely to the lore of the story. However, her attitude towards life makes her more willing to jump toward action and rebel against authority, which would certainly drive the plot forward on many occasions. Also, her past consideration of becoming a witch will be very important in getting Cloud Tower and Alfia students to look past their very intense school rivalry to work together when it really counts. Though this would be pretty hard the first time, like at the end of season 1 when the tricks start getting crazy. But I think by the end of the first season, Musa would actually have some witches that she considers close friends, and they could visit each other at their schools like how the specialists come to see the Winx. Because of this, Musa would probably be the only Winx to actually know some witch magic and spells as well, which is pretty cool. The Winx are kind of a ragtag group of fairies. They're all really different, but their differences are what brings them together. And yet, even in this group, Musa still finds herself feeling alone. Her character arc needs to look inward, and she needs to learn to truly love and accept herself, and eventually she can turn her focus outward and learn to accept love from others, and eventually to give love to others. Her strength isn't just music, but it's what music does best: bring people together and help them feel heard. I hope you guys enjoyed Musa's redesign and new backstory. Shipping can be a controversial subject, and I was certainly worried about that with this video, but it can also be fun. The way I did her romances would still give lots of drama, but also give the Driven and the Revusa shippers some really great moments, both before and after they break up for good. Musa is a really great character when it comes to interesting dynamics, and my personal favorite, of course, is her and Aisha, who happens to be the next character I'll be redesigning. Like and subscribe and stuff, and I'll see you then. Bye!